aren't many things I'd rather be doing on a lovely day like this than trotting for grayling. And here we are, one of Britain's loveliest rivers, Berkshire's Kennet. Oh, this water's so clear. It's beautiful. I fished this pool before, actually, at the head of the fishery. And in the winter, it's bombing through here, and this is an enormous great eddy. And I think I've caught grayling from sitting up there and fishing close in on this gravel run here. But today, being early October, still a lot of weed in the river. And of course, all the fish are concentrated in these little bubbly pockets where all the fast water is. Put a few maggots out there. The trouble with these little hatch pools is that you tend to get a lot of trout in them, and when we're after grayling, the trout often reach the maggots first, but nonetheless we'll see how we get on. I've got a 14 hook on here. I'm putting 2 maggots on, and I've got a 1 swan shot little tiny loafer float. Might be a little bit light for this pool here. It's fair belting through. Let's see how we get on anyway. I don't mind catching the odd trout, even if they are out of season. But it's grayling that we want. Now that's coming through nice now on the end of the flash there. Yes! Oh, hello, what's this? Oh, I don't know. First trot through. Don't know what that is. Could be a grayling. Yes, it is. Yes, it's a little tiny grayling first cast. I don't care what size they are, I love grayling. Lovely fish. I think I'd sooner be trotting for roach than grayling, but next on my list of any sort of fishing comes this fish. It's wiry, it's hard fighting, it's got beautiful colours, and it's fun to catch in very fast, rippling water. It's got that lovely red along its dorsal fin. There you go. But the nice thing about fishing these pools is that you never really know what you're going to catch. There's 1 or 2 dace in this river, there's the odd chub, there's lots of grayling, of course there's lots of trout too. We don't really know, it could be almost anything. Oh, that water's really pulling through there. Really pulling through. Float could be a bit light for this, it's just a 1 swan shot loafer type float. Whoa, no, we're in straight away. Whoa, look at that. All right, it's going. What is it? I think it's a spotty. I think it's a spotty. Yes. Oh, I don't know. Is it? Yeah. Because this river's regularly stocked with rainbows, and there's a natural head of browns as well. Natural head of browns as well. This looks like a little rainbow. Browns don't jump like that. Careful of the treetops, Wilson. Of course, fishing this time of the year for grayling, you have to be very careful when you catch these little trouts. And we don't want to harm him, because somebody will be catching him next year when he's overwintered. So we'll just get hold of him carefully and take the hook out and put him back again. Greedy little devil. That's better. There we are. Away you go. There we are. Certainly none the worse for his efforts. Right, I'm going to bring that swan shot down to within about 10 inches of the bait there, because this water's really rocketing through. And it's only the last probably couple of feet down the glide that the bait's actually down low where it needs to be for those bigger grayling that are... Oh! Let's put a few more maggots in. I haven't really fed this swim too well. We'll put a few over there alongside the concrete wall, and now they should backtrack, hit the white water and tumble down through the swim with a bit of luck. Although that's more like a washing machine, and it's very difficult to know where that's going to end up. Let me see if I can put it up against the wall. That's better. The trouble is the float's dragged under too quickly to tell. That's the problem. Sort of situation, this little hatch, where you could probably catch him ledgering. I've actually caught fish ledgering in these sort of situations before. Ledgering for grayling isn't really kosher. It's not the sort of thing I like doing. Sometimes it beats the situation though. Here we are. Hello, what's this? No, it's another grayling. Oh, they don't half pull in this current. It's only a little one too. 5 or 6 ounces, not very big. Beautiful little fish. Whoops. Whoops, hold still. Well, I think I've just about exhausted this now. Although there's a few fish still willing, I think I'm going to call it a day in this pool. The trouble is there's so many lovely little spots on this enchanting river that I want to try. I don't want to spend too long in each. I can always come back here if it doesn't turn out well further downstream, but there's simply miles of this interesting little river. Bends and gullies and 20, 30 yard trots. There's 20, 30 little hatch pools, and well, you never know what you're going to get. And it's nice just to roam. I think this is part of the reason I make the long journey down from Norfolk to Berkshire. I just love it here, it's beautiful. Well, it's obvious that bigger grayling aren't going to be in the shallower swims, the bubbly water where I normally expect to find them. So I've come down to this lovely confluence where a little carrier here meets the main river. There's a nice deep run along that far bank under the weed bed there. Well, it's deep for this river anyway. It's probably something like about 3 feet, I would think. Let's set it about that sort of depth. I'm sticking with the one swan shot float. It's ideal because there's not really a lot of pace here. Put a few maggots in the far bank there. This is more like creepy crawly Indian stuff than standing up long trotting 30 yards. It's not really the grayling fishing of the winter, but then this river isn't in its winter close yet. It's though it's October and there was quite a strong frost this morning, we're fishing in summer conditions and we're trying to get the bait in these tiny little runs between the reeds. There's a lot of bottom weed here as well as that stuff on the surface. That's trotting down nicely there. Oh, we're into a fish straight away. That looks like a small grayling. Yes, it is. You never really know what you're going to get. You could get a trout first cast or... No, it's a small grayling. Look at that, isn't that lovely? Look at the way it puts that back fin out there. Lovely little fish. Let's pop you back straight away. There we go. Oh, well, there's grayling in the swim. That's for sure. I don't always think that grayling of a size shoal together, you're just as liable to get half a dozen biggies in a nice little deep run with this as you are 20, 30 small ones that shoal up with them. Sometimes you have to get through quite a few fish before you bump into the bigger fish. See how we get on. It's a little deeper than I thought. I think I can lift the float up a little and scrape bottom a bit more on the next cast through. Oh, missed that one. Let's go a little deeper. That could have been a spotty. Took that on the way down. That's the problem with this river in the autumn. The trout are very active. I don't like catching too many trout. I'm going to go straight through to the grayling if I can. It's running through nice now. That's lovely. Oh, hello. Oh, oh, Wilson, what was that? That looked very good indeed. Bit of a tangle there. No, I think we'll get this out quite easy. I bumped that. That could have been a big grayling. They've got such tough jaws that sometimes you bump the hook on them and instead of the hook going home, it bounces straight off. There we go. Try another couple of runs down at the head of the swim and then I'll start the trot a little bit further down in case the bigger fish are hanging at the end of the swim. They could well be, that's often the case. Oh, got a little tiny twitch then. No. Oh, here we are. Oh, what's this? This is a better fish. Oh, yes, that's definitely a better fish. Oh, yes. Careful with this one. Oh yes, that is a good grayling. They go so hard in this current. Oh, that is a good fish. Look at that. Oh, careful, Wilson. Oh, gotcha. Oh, that's lovely. Oh, that is a biggie. Oh, look at that. For early on in the season, that's a lovely grayling. Weed all over me. Look, that's well over a pound. That lovely sail-like fin there. Beautiful red colour on it. Isn't that absolutely beautiful? Well, I don't know, I think I'll give this swim a rest. I can always come back to it. I rather fancy this lovely long glide here right round the corner on the end of this big patch of bulrushes here. It's a lovely long glide. Very close into my own bank along these sedges. Actually, a lot of people remark on these funny looking boots I wear, but they're actually cut down waders, and I can kneel on these extra pads and stops me getting wet knees. I even cut brand new waders up to this because I don't like the awkwardness of full thigh waders when I'm roaming about, but this just gives me an extra kneeling position by cutting them off just diagonally above the knees, and I can also wade a little bit deeper in streams and across little dishes than the normal height of well is. Let's have a look at this. It's always a nice swim here. There's a lot more pace to it. And it's all gravel, all between the sedges and the bulrushes, the true bulrushes they are, on the other bank there. Let's see if there's anything at home first before I bother to put any maggots in. I have to kneel up a little bit here to keep my eye on that float. It's a lovely trot through there. Lovely trot through. Love these sort of fast runs here. Sort of swim where it's worth perhaps. Oh yes, oh, missed it. Oh, hit the tree. Oh dear me, that was a good bite. Right, let's put a few maggots in. There's obviously fish in this run. I don't want to bring them up too close though. If I bring them up too close to clear water, they might get a little bit wary, so I'll put a few maggots well down the run there. It's got to be a good 20 yards here. I can trot right down to where weed almost covers the entire river right the way across. There's a lot of swans on the main river today. I've just seen 2 or 3 dozen go backwards and forwards there. Right. There we go. Let's ease that through nicely there. Must remember to strike sideways here and not up with these trees. I was to knock the top 6 inches off my rod. Don't want to do that. It's a lovely glide, that. It's beautiful. Really beautiful. Getting into danger country now. That's where I had that bite a second ago. Are they still there? And what are they? Yes, here we are. Oh, that's a good fish. Oh, there's not enough flow here to pull the line off the... Oh, it's a good grayling, yeah. Not enough flow to pull the line from the centre pin. I'll have to ease it down and help it a bit. Yes, that's a good one. Oh, this is a lovely swim. Sort of swim it's worth time spending an hour or so and building it up. Oh, it's a lift job, it's not that big. Oh, no, it isn't a lift job. Yes, it is just. No. Now, for those of you who don't know how to net fish in mid-air, there we are, because I'm caught around the... caught around that branch. Oh well, not exactly the way, exactly the way to do it. A nice little fish. Oh dear. There he is. Fresh looking little fish. Let's put him straight back. Right, that's it for this swim. I think I'm going to wander upstream now. There's a nice long quick pool at the top of the fishery that I fancy having a look at. But before I do, let me show you my fishing jacket, because as you've probably gathered, I don't bother carrying a fishing bag around when I'm wandering. It's too much like hard work. And in this jacket that I've had specially made, I've got all sorts of stuff: hook sharpening stones, some plummets, a knife, my Polaroid glass case, and then in this pocket got a bit of everything in here. I've got my hooks. I'm afraid it's in a bit of a mess, this box, but it's all there from sizes 22 to size 2, some swivels, there's little beads, float bands, everything I need in there. And then in this one, a good mixture of lead-free shot, from dust right up to swan shots, some float quick change adapters and some more float bands and swivels, all in lead-free. And then over on this side I've got 2 tab pouches for the forceps. That's the pike one, that's for small fish such as roach, dace and grayling. In this pocket I've got a wallet full of floats, just about everything there, from wagglers to chubbers, etc. And then in this pocket we've got a tab for drying dry flies when I'm fly fishing, a pair of scissors on an extension cord, and I've got some small scissors there for trimming and some disgorgers in various sizes. All these are covered in Velcro straps so they don't come undone too easily. And then inside I've got some hooks to nylon, and this is very handy. It's a little tiny quick torch if I'm caught out late night fishing, and some quick sink there to sink the line. And then in the back, this is the most useful pocket. I've got a zip here, and inside here I've got my glove in case a pike comes along. I'm pike fishing, to glove out a pike. I don't need to carry a big net around then. What else have I got? I've got some scales here for weighing fish, a catapult, and I use this pocket for other things. If I'm carp fishing, I might fill it up full of boilies or a loaf or a couple of tins of worms or chum mix of biscuits or something like that, and it all goes inside there. So I haven't got to take a... Oops, can't do the zip up. So I haven't got to take a box around with me. And then right at the back here, on this big D-ring, in case you're wondering what that's for, so I don't have to carry a telescopic large landing net around. This goes on the D-ring like that, and this size now I've had carp to 18 pounds in, believe it or not. And I'm all ready to go. I'm completely self-contained. Right, let's head upstream. This is a lovely straight along here where the river runs parallel with the main road, but it's so painfully shallow. There's a lot of weed too, so I think I'm going to not bother to trot this. It's difficult getting the float down there between the weedy runs, but I bet the grayling are still there. Yeah, yes, they are too. So difficult to see, they blend in so well on the bottom. The French have got a lovely name for grayling, ombre de la rivière, which means shadow of the river. And how apt that is. It's nice to see 1 or 2 cultivated trees along the river. This is a red flowering cherry. It's ever so pretty in spring, but the leaves now are reddening off as autumn comes, and soon they'll all be gone as winter arrives. Some nice runs here along the opposite bank under those trees there. Just the sort of place you might find 1 or 2 big old trout. They can get under there and hide, and you never believe they're actually in this tiny little bit of the river. Morning, Fred, how you going?
All right, thank you.
That'll be a nice run there, won't it, when you finish that?
It will.
Might try that later on.
Sure.
Bye for now. Right, I think I'm going to follow this pretty little carrier up through the woods to that top hatch pool and see if we can't get a big grayling. There's some big ones in there. Well, here we are at the top pool. Goodness me, it's changed since I last fished here, last winter. There's a lot of self-seeded orders here. The old river keeper's got his work cut out this winter to get them down and make it a fishable pool again. I'm going to keep very low down as I creep up here. It's pity the light's gone a bit grim now. Perhaps it'll get out sunny later on again, although it's not a bad thing for the grayling in this absolutely crystal clear water. Right, it's about as far as I can go here. I've got a very tall, mature alder to my left there. Let's have a look. Well, this will give me a fair command of the swim. Let's be a bit optimistic. Let's get the net ready. There's got to be grayling in this run. It's a beautiful looking run. Put a few maggots in. It's useful, this maggot pouch. I don't know what I'd do without that. Having to continually open and shut bait tins when you're walking around is a bit of a pain, really. Right, let's put a couple of maggots on and we'll try worm if they don't work, although the grayling in this particular river do like maggots. Some of the southern rivers, like the Test, worm seems to be the bait, but on the Kennet they do like maggots. Probably so do the old trout. Here we go. I don't know what the depth is like now after last winter's floods. I've set it about 2 feet and see what that's like going through. Holding back up. Oh, we got one straight away. Oh, that's a good fish. What's that? Oh, I think it's a trout. Yes, it is. Is it? Yes. Good enough go. It's a rainbow. That's the trouble. As soon as you put maggots in, you get a spotty waiting there for it. Come on. There he's. Oh, it's going well anyway. Sacrilege this is to a lot of the fly anglers who probably fish this river catching these trout on maggots, but they don't go any the less, I can assure them. Ooh. Can't hurry it, it's a good fish. It's probably getting on for £2, I was thinking. I'm only on a £2 line, so I can't go too bananas with it. Ah, there he is. I think he's just gonna... No, he saw the net then. One more swimmer's roll and I think he's mine. Ah, there he is. Oh, gotcha. Oh, that was a stretch. Normally with trout I like to take the hooks out in the water, but I haven't to net this one because there's quite a lot of silt just in front of me here. Oops. There we are. Nice looking rainbow. Let's put him straight back. I'll have to just flip him into that crest and he'll probably go away then. Let's just tail him off with the end of the net. Whoa, there he goes. Whew. None the worse for his experience. Oh, that was nice. I hope I haven't messed the grayling up too much though. Although the hook's caught in the net. That's better. Right, I don't think I'm going to put any more maggots in. I don't want too many spotties. Let's have another trot through. Whoops, left the ratchet on. Thing with the centre pin, you have to be careful when you net fish. Must remember to put that ratchet on, otherwise you put the reel down and it continues spinning and gets you in a hell of a mess. Here we go, we're going through lovely now. This is a lovely swim to trot. It's really pulling the line off beautifully. Come on, you grayling. You've got to be about there, I would think. That trout's probably upset them for a while. No. Nothing on that trot. They do have an unsettling effect when you get a trout crashing about in the swim. No, pull that in. Let's set that a little deeper. I think I'll scrape bottom just a little bit more. Keep the 2 maggots on. Try and keep more towards the back this time, I think. And then pull it into the fast current once it's gone a couple of yards. It could be lying over the back there, the grayling. That's going through lovely now. Hold back a bit and let it go through. Yes, here we are. It's a little baby one. Goodness me, there's a lot of little fish in this river. Come on. Still, grayling nevertheless. Look at the strength of that, isn't that incredible? They're so wiry. Unbelievable strength they've got. Well, that's a nice fish to end the programme with, isn't it? That'll do. Well, here we are at Ardley Reservoir near Colchester in Essex, and it's looking a bit of a grim morning, unfortunately, although it's not as bad as it must have been a couple of weeks ago when these willows went down in that tremendous scale. It's a lovely reservoir here. It's something like 100 acres plus of water, and it's a big U shape with arms going to the east and to the west. It's predominantly a trout fishery. I think they cover something like 10,000 trout tickets here a year. But that's not what we're here for. We're going to hope to get a few pike and perch, because from October onwards here you can actually fish for pike and perch. It's a very progressive move by the management here. Can't see anything moving, but there's a grebe down there. Right, let's have a look at the boat. I've got this set out in a most unusual fashion, specifically for these big waters. It's probably more Americanified than anything, starting with the old spinning chair here. All I've done is adopt an old office chair, taking the base off, made a hole in the seat there and a hole and a little support in the bottom. And what this does, it allows me to sit up higher when I'm lure fishing and hold the rod down at a lower angle. Very useful, that, and you don't get so tired either. And here's the sonar unit, which is wired into the bottom of the boat with a 12-volt battery, and underneath the boat is the transducer. And what happens, you get 5,000 ultrasonic signals a second, goes through this, down through the transducer, hits the bottom, comes up again, and you get an instant readout in black dots for the bottom line, whichever depth it is, and this can go down to 120 feet. And on this particular model, the actual fish show up in red. So with depths out here to 50 feet, we'll see how we get on. And then over here, we've got something which is quite rare in British fishing boats. It's a downrigger, and it works on the principle that there's a heavy lead ball there, your rod goes in there, your line is brought up and down, clips in a clip to the lead ball, and then the line goes out behind the boat 10, 20 feet. And if this is lowered to 10, 20, 30, 40, whatever depth it goes at, the bait is being trolled behind that, horizontally. It's great. And of course, the Americans use it for these deep water lake trout and salmon. And be interesting to see what happens at Ardley Reservoir, won't it? Right, let's get the boat out. Well, we've had a look at all the gizmos. These are some of the rods I'm going to be using. A pair of 5-foot American bait casting rods with little baby multipliers. A couple of spinning rods, and I've got 2 dead baiting rods there for a bit of piking as well. Right, these are the baits. I've got some small dead roach and some smelts there for the pike, but what I want to mainly do is concentrate on this lot. Look at that. There's just about everything in there. Let's have a look at some of them. Now this is an American plastic worm, rigged Texas style. What you do, you've got the weighted part there which cones over the front of the worm, and you just nick the point of the hook in, so it actually moves across the bottom weedless, and when the perch grabs hold of it, of course the hook comes through the plastic and he's ready to be struck. Here's another different type. This is a weighted jig, and this has got a weighted part at the head with the hook part at the top, the eye there. We put a green worm, we can put any colour worm on because we've got about 30 different colour worms. It actually fishes that way up through the water and it doesn't catch on the bottom. The hook's always pointing upwards. So that's almost a weedless rig as well. It just goes like that through the water. Right, what else we got? Over here we've got some chrome plated jigs which are very good. These don't actually fish like a spinner. You put them down to the bottom and jig them up like that, and hopefully the perch are going to take those. If not, we've got some deep diving plugs. That's a shad rattler. That one will actually go down to 15 feet deep. Look at its big diving vane there. As you pull it, it rattles as well. It's got a ball bearing inside. And then over here we've got some funny things. These are what we call a spinning jig. We've got the weighted jig and worm, but it's actually fixed on a little spinning blade, and so this goes through the water like that. Perch love them, they really do. And then if they don't work, we've got some spinner baits which are very similar. They work on an identical principle. You've got the vibratory blade above, got a big hook here following below, and we've got a little tiny treble wired into that, so if the perch comes short they'll grab that one. What else have we got? Oh, we've got some basic spoons which also work very well. The old copper spoon, that's a favourite with lots of predator hunters. Then we've got some more deep diving plugs like this little one. You can see that one's got a very big vane, and that will go down deep when you pull it hard. And then finally we've got some feather jigs. These are very popular in the States for catching all sorts of the sunfish family. And again, they've got a marabou tail and a weighted part there, and the hook again is that way up as you jig it like that. Right, there's dozens and dozens of more in there if some of those don't work, so let's get the boat out and put them into action. Ooh. The nice thing about this swivel seat of mine is, although it's higher, it's just as nice for rowing as it is for fishing from. Right, let's switch the old sonar on and see what we're going to pick up. I think I'll head diagonally across the reservoir and see what the depths are. At the moment it's 5 feet. One or two stumps showing up where the trees were cut down and leaving these withered old stumps before the water was allowed to fill up the valley. It's going 7 feet now, 8 feet. Haven't recorded anything yet, haven't seen anything come up yet. 10 feet. Doesn't seem to be any shellfish here. 15 feet. Wow, it's a good old depth. I'm only about 40 yards from the shore here. Now it's switching over to the new scale, 20 feet. Whew, it is deep. We're no more than 50 yards from the shore here. 20 feet of water. See what's happening. I had a little blimp then. There could have been a... Oh yes, there's a big shoal of fish. They could be roach. They're about 3 or 4 feet off the bottom there. The nice thing about this hummingbird recorder is that it picks up fish only 3 inches off the bottom, so there's no mistake that you are actually looking at fish. Massive shoal there, massive shoal, right by this red buoy. I think I'll remember that. Wow. Massive shoal of fish, about 3 feet off bottom again. Oh, I just put on one of those little copper jigs, look at that. Yes, the sonar's right, there's lots of perch down here. I hope they're not all that size. In you go. Still, where there's small ones, there's big uns. Down we go again. This is quite fun, this is. I've just slipped an anchor over the after end, and I seem to have attracted an enormous shoal of perch here. I think they're all probably little ones, and I'm just jigging this little copper bar spoon there, just off the bottom, and no response. No, I think there's a lot of roach too then in that case. I think the little perch would have had that. Let's change that, that's tiny, look at that. I mean, that's absolutely minute. If there was a lot of little perch there, I'm sure they would have chomped that by now. Let's try something a little bit more glamorous. Let's try this red and white plastic jig. This looks like it could be the business. Actually, the truth of the matter is I just like trying all these different gizmo lures. It's all a sort of a it's a lot of fun. If I just had dead baits with me or one type of plug, I might be a bit jarred off by now, but I've got about 30 different lures to try before that happens. Right, now this looks a good one. God, I'd have that if I was a perch. Look at that. Right, let's whack it out a bit and bring it along the bottom horizontal, and then we'll jig it under the boat. Oh, we're coming over a lot of fish now. Look at that. Phew. That's a tremendous shoal. The snag is it's not easy to know whether it's roach or perch. I think they're a bit too high in the water for perch. Big shoal though. The red is overplaced with black there, which means it's very dense. The one way of reading this, if it's just red, it's probably small fish, but if it's overdone with black, then it could be a very good size shoal of quite large fish. Actually, they're probably good quality roach. Oh, yeah, whacking it out and then bringing it back along the bottom horizontal definitely seems better than jigging it up and down, because you're only appealing to fish that are right under the boat then, and of course. Oh yes, here we are. Oh, gotcha. Yes, I think I'm doing the old jigging wrong, Wilson. I think I'm going to have to try the horizontal approach. This feels marginally better. I don't say it's massive, but oh, it's a little pike. Oh, you little devil. Look at that. Oh, I thought that was a better perch, and I thought we got the answer there. Gotcha. But we haven't. Well, something likes my pink plastic worms. Even if he only is a tiny little pike. Look at that, that's absolutely perfect. Fin perfect. These pointed tail, look at that. Isn't that absolutely beautiful? Predation in miniature. Well, I seem to have been rowing about now for ages, so I think I'm going to take a bit of a breather and get onto the bank and have a go along this dam wall. It looks quite good there. See if we can find somewhere we can get the boat up in shallow water. Oh, it looks a bit of easy bank over there. Hope there's no stumps around here. I don't think there are. Oh. Right, let's see if we can beach it. Oh, ah. Right, I'll put the mud weight down just in case. Right, I've got my 3 little bait casting rods here already and a pocket full of lures, and give the dam a go. Well, here we are on terra firma at the dam end. It's nice to be out of the boat actually. It's a bit steep here though. I wouldn't want to be here on a frosty or rainy day. Let's give this spot a go here. I've got a couple of little bait casting rods and a small fixed spool outfit and a pocket full of lures. I'm going to give the old Ondex a try, a trusted perch lure. See how we do. I don't really know what the depth is here, so give it a few seconds to get down a bit and then see what happens. Check the clutch. When I'm spinning, I like to almost point the rod at the lure. A lot of people worry that could be suicidal and the line break if a fish grabs, but there's a lot of stretching monofilament, and that doesn't often happen, but you do tend to set the hook more than if you were holding the rod to the side, because the rod gets banged around by a taking fish, and then before you have a chance to really set the hook, it's got a bit of slack and it tends to spit the hooks out. Oh, that's working nicely. Right, I didn't catch bottom, so I'll give it a little bit longer to get down next cast. I'm searching this area in a sort of a a grid fashion, not casting too near each other, each cast, so that if there were some fish there, they're not continually put off by the lure's action. And they've got a couple of minutes before it goes past them again. If I don't get a take this time, I think I'm going to put on a heavier copper spoon and try and get a bit more distance, and so I can bring it through the water a little faster. Ah, here we are. Oh, at last. Oh, it's not a big one, but it's not bad. Oh, it's a reasonable fish. I thought I was never going to get one there. Come on. About 3/4 pound. Look at that. Whoops. Careful. Careful. A pretty fish, aren't they, the perch? Look at that lovely spiked dorsal fin. I always remember when we were kids, we used to think that that little black bit there was poisonous, and none of the kids would ever put their hand anywhere near it. And of course, if you actually prick your hand, and I mean, it's liable to go septic because those barbs are very sharp. Beautiful colour perch. Lovely orangey red tail. And you certainly like that on decks, didn't you? Lovely fish. Back to the Ondex again. I'm going to try a very, very slow retrieve now and risk that bottom weed and see if that produces anything. Sometimes when you spin very, very slow for perch, the blade's just about rotating, you do get some bangs. The only trouble is, of course, you're not going really fast enough for the impetus of the fish hitting it to set the hooks, and you do tend to miss more when it's like that. Probably hitting a little bit of weed going this slow as well. Oh, hello, I had a bang there. Yes, we're in. Oh, going slower did make a difference. Isn't that amazing? I wouldn't have thought that it would have done. Oh, this feels a little better. Oh yes, that's a better looking fish, definitely. Well, it's better than the last one anyway. It's a pound plusser. Oh, careful. We'll lose you now. Oh, that's fine. That lovely fin there. That beautiful. They're proud looking fish, perch. Lovely tail. That fooled you, didn't it? Going slow's obviously the way. Beautiful fish. Isn't that nice? Right, well here we are, we're up on the western arm of the reservoir now, near the trout pens, and I'm going to whack a dead bait right up into the wind, well away from where I'm going to be jigging with the second rod. This is one of the favourite spots around here for pike. I still wish the sun had come out. It's still a little bit grim, although it's trying to break through, so we might just get a couple of hours of sunlight. Let that hit the bottom. I'm not going to bother with a float on this one because of the yawing of the boat here, and use a free line with 3 swan shots on it, so that if it does decide to move off, the swan shots make the pike move off against the boat. So we'll put that in a band, put it off the bows there, and I can keep my eye on that. And I'm going to check that clutch again. Yep. I do like wobbling dead baits. You never really know what size pike you're going to get. I still think that static deads produce the biggies over all methods, but I've had a lot of doubles and quite a few 20s on wobble deads in the past. It's just getting that relationship with the bottom, whether your bait's going slowly down and just tripping up, and then you bring it up 2 or 3 feet, and let the weights take it down again. And some days they want it slow and some days they want it fast. I don't think they want it too fast here because there's not an enormous amount of visibility, probably about 2-3 foot of reasonable vis. No, nothing on that cast. We're well off the bottom now. Sometimes you get a big old brown trout following it into the boat like this. I've often seen them shear away just at the last minute. Right, let's whack this right up into the wind. There's a good ripple on here at the moment. In fact, the light stops have gone up a couple of notches and the sun looks as though it could be breaking through. That might be all we need to get a bit of action. Just sparkle them into feeding. Right, we're on the bottom again. I've got the big net made up just in case we do get into a pike, a good one. Although I prefer to lift out a little pike because with the loose trebles they tend to get caught up in the net, and if they twist and turn they don't do themselves any good. Or you trace and it's easier to glove them out or hand them out really. With lure fishing in general and jigs and that, I still prefer to glove out even a big fish because of the trebles getting messed about in the net. It's taken right under the boat. Oh, it's a little pike. Oh, I thought for a second that was a big perch. Just for a split second, mind. You little devil, you. Right, open wide. Come on. God, tremendous strength he's got in those jaws there. Come on. It's a tiny little fish and he won't open. Come on. It's better. There we are. Fresh little fish, isn't it? Right, where you go. Well, I don't know, I've learnt an awful lot about the reservoir here at Ardley today, particularly with the use of the sonar equipment. I've found lots of shoals of fish and quite a few of the deeper gullies, so when I come here next time I'll be well equipped. But of course, for all the gizmos, it doesn't mean to say that the fish are going to jump up on your hook. It just makes it all that much more interesting. I honestly think that the better quality fish of this reservoir are going to have to wait for me anyway for another day, but I'm going to have a few more casts into the sunset nonetheless. Well, would you believe it? I've wound the other rods in, I've even put the net away, and I pick up the last dead baiting rod and there's a fish. Pulled the band out just when I was... Oh, it's a good double too. Isn't that incredible? Oy, oy, oy. No, it's not as big as I first thought. Still, at least it's a nice fish to end the day with. Just when I thought we weren't going to get anything reasonable at all, I'm going to have to hand this one out. And the hooks are in the scissors as well. Let's see if he'll take hand lining. He might do. Oh! So no, he's still a little bit lively. He's just flicked the smelt off. Come on. Well then, hang on there. Yes, we've got him. Oh, there we are. Well, hasn't been such a bad day after all, has it? I don't believe that. I really did think that we weren't going to get anything. Look at that unusual deformity it's got by its dorsal fin, like a hump there. Isn't that strange? Never seen that on a pike before. It's like its last vertebrae's come up and been a bit deformed. It's most peculiar, that. Fish about. Oh. Well, that just about takes the bloody biscuit, that does.
Go fishing with John Wilson and catch some really big fish.
About 19 to 20 pounds.
Pike.
Unbelievable. Row upon row of needle sharp tooth.
Trout.
Oh, it's a super fish.
Chub.
What a whopping great chub.
Tench.
Let's put him in the net.
Roach.
Oh, I've got a bite there. Oh, yes. Oh, that's magic.
Carp.
Oh, it's a lovely fully scaled mirror. I think that's my biggest fully scaled mirror ever, actually.
Catch them all on 3 highly acclaimed hour-long videos and pick up some useful tips along the way. Ask your dealer for Go Fishing by Stylus Video. Go fishing with John Wilson on 3 new videos that will help you reel in the catch of the day. From cod in the sea.
Here he comes. That's a good fish. Oh, great. Oh, that is a nice fish. Look at that. It's a clonking great cod, isn't it?
To carp in the lilies.
Hello. There we go. Yes, we're in. Oh, hello. It's a better fish. That's nice. It's a good start to the day.
From grayling in the stream.
Oh, yes, that is a good grade. Oh, careful, Wilson. Oh, gotcha. Look, that's well over a pound. That lovely sail-like fin there.
To pike in the weir pool.
Oh, yes, here we are. Oh, it's a good fish as well. Oh, be careful with this one, Wilson. Oh, that is a good one. Oh, let's get me glove. Now, come on. Easy does it. Gotcha! What about that then?
From traditional techniques to the latest technology. Go fishing covers the complete spectrum for the modern angler.
Oh, yes! We've got to keep the rod up high. No, we haven't. We've got to go under again. Go on! It's getting under those reeds. Let's get the net, yeah. Come on, my son. Gotcha.
See the complete range of Go Fishing wherever good videos are sold.